BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com.
This is the Danny Britt Show live from BowTie Barbecue in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. Christian Gokel alongside the head football coach of your cadets, Danny Britt, coming off of a massive win up at Westminster and getting ready for just a behemoth of a football game on Friday night. But, Coach, I don't want to start off on a sour note, but I got a bone to pick with you here a little bit. Last week, we came on here. I asked you about what you guys have been up to during the bye week, and for the first time, you gave me coach speak. You're like, man, we just worked on ourselves. We got in a lot of stuff where we just kind of went back to the drawing board, made sure that we were getting better at football. And then you guys come out on the first drive. We're under center. We're pulling near side guards. We've got H-back inserts going on. You guys just throw out like 5-6 new plays that I see in the first two drives. And you just sat here last week and you fibbed to me.
Well, I'm too old to fight Coach Phillips. So if I put that out there, he'd wanted to fight me. So no, I wasn't going to say that. We've had some of that, and but it looked good, didn't it? And he had installed that, and it looked good.
Again, offense comes out clicking, defense plays lights out. You guys get a massive win, put up 50 points up at Westminster, and just let's start there with the offense. I think throughout the season, I know maybe not the same caliber of opponent as a Colquitt or teams like that, but still a good Westminster program. I think probably the most consistent the offense played, and I think that started up front. Offensive line seemed like they were playing with some aggression. Yeah,
they did. They played with tremendous aggression. In fact, the grades showed it. How well they had done, and it was fun. Grading that film and studying that film. Gave a lot of hit men out for them, and we even got in a little bit of trouble because we were pancaking them too hard. I didn't know this was a rule now that you can't. You know how you drive a guy down and you can't. You can obviously drive him and be on him, but you have to immediately get off of it.
You can't just sit there and lay on him.
Cannot lay on him anymore. That is now considered
football.
Holding.
That's just football.
I thought, that's the reward of offense. How many rewards do they get?
Right.
Offensive linemen get few awards, right? That is one of theirs to be able to just lay on that guy and humiliate him.
Just know the play's over.
But anyway, no. So, but no, I thought it played well. I thought offensively, we're going to try to be a little more balanced in the run-pass game there, and really wanted to be. But the way when you're getting, you even said it on air, when you're getting 12 and 15 yards a pop, it's hard not to just run the ball.
And I know, just kind of going with that, I think you guys threw the ball 3 quarterbacks combined playing 8 times in the entire football game. And I know you guys, we talked about this in the show last week. You have Stephen Cannon, you have Bubba Frazier, you have Aaron Mallard out there just running around. Josh Washington got back. Fans want to see you sling the football around, but when they're only sending 3 or 4 guys and dropping coverage, and you have Stanley Smart and you have all these other guys who can just eat off the edge, offensive coordinator is going to call that until you force him not to.
Well, and we threw it 9 times actually, through the whole game. And but you're right. They basically, Westminster had decided we're going to defensively we're going to set up to prevent the deep ball and the easy passes, and but in essence was giving us the run. It's basically, they were outmanned. So we took what what they were giving us, which we try to do every week. That's the whole basis behind having a, multiple offenses.
Right.
Defenses have to decide what they want to, set up against. And we try to, take advantage of whatever the opposite is.
And Coach Fogarty, the offensive line coach, I know it's been a little bit of a process through the first few weeks. And from what was the doldrums against Buford, which I know he took that tape and just burned it,
right,
versus what you saw this past Friday night, it's night and day. What has he kind of brought to the offensive line room and to the offense, but what do you expect to see going forward as well?
Yeah, he's brought a lot of energy. You can see it. You come to practice, you'll hear him, just constantly yelling and screaming and, like an offensive line coach should.
Absolutely.
And, brought a lot of energy there. And, there hasn't been an exact established starting group. It's just been rotating in, trying to find the best group. And, once we do that, we will have that established group. But we talked about before the season, building depth. We got to build depth for the long run.
Yeah.
Because our goal is always at being at the end, and we've done that. In some ways, we didn't want to build it in the way we built it, but we've been able to build depth in a number of places, and but Coach Fogarty's doing a great job, and really has brought that to it, and I think you're going to see that continued physical play from those guys.
And I know, just talk about the skill guys, starting quarterback position, Stephen Cannon. I know he wants to throw the football, but when you're a quarterback, you can hand it off, and your guy goes and picks up a first down plus some basically every time you hand it off. You're probably going to get used to doing that in the game. But from him, when he did take some snaps, what I liked is I thought in Buford and some of the other games, when there was pressure, it was kind of going out and around to try to scramble. There's a couple times against Westminster where he slid up in the pocket and then was able to pick up some first downs that way. I think that is what you guys want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, he's getting really comfortable in that, you could tell. And, obviously he and Coach DePhillips watch a lot of film as a unit, but also just those two.
Yeah.
In fact, Tuesday it was, I think, I wanted to meet with him during our E-block, which is, weightlifting for those guys. And I pulled him out and was talking to him, and Coach Phillips walks in and said, "All right, Coach, you're eating up my time on my quarterback." So I had to cut it short. But yeah, he's getting more comfortable with that. And I know that's what, they've talked about numerous times, and looked really good. That one time he pulled up and ran it.
Yeah.
I think he picked up a first down. I think it was like 12 or 13 yards, and just really looked good with that. And, he is a superior athlete, so need to continue to do that. And, and certainly playing teams like, against Ware, these type of teams, they're going to get pressure. It's not, it's just the way it is.
It's going to happen. And I know you as a defensive guy, when you play against a quarterback who has a good arm, who's accurate, but also has that ability to kind of manage the pocket, what kind of stress does that put on you as a defense?
Unbelievable. It does so much. Either you just kind of accept there's going to be times where he's just going to beat you with his legs, or you have to spy him. And if you're spying him, you are leaving gaps in your defense. And you better, and some of these cats are really hard to spy too, because, you don't, maybe you're backer and athletic enough to do it.
Sure.
So then do you go to more of a nickel look, and then we all know what that does. It weakens you in the run game. So it adds so much stress to what you're doing.
And just speaking about guys who put stress on defenses, Bubba Frazier, I want to talk about a painful memory, but it compares to this. The game against Jefferson in the semifinals, Kevin and I were kind of talking before the final play of the game, and it's just, hey, Malachi Starks is back there. You can't throw it anywhere near him. And then if play happens, kind of float one over the middle, and you hear, oh, no. And the 5-star is going to make a play on that.
Right.
As soon as the punter pipes one right down the middle of the field to Bubba Frazier as a punt returner, I think everybody in the stadium kind of knows what's going to happen. And that's what kind of football player he is.
Yeah, definitely. And I knew we could get a return against these guys this week. And my PBR unit did a good job. We were doubling a couple of guys on that side particular, who could have got down there and maybe made a play on Bubba, and they doubled them all the way to the sideline. So those guys did a good job. In fact, over on Pizza Party, I got to get on that next week for that. But Bubba, yeah, when he's in the open, he's just so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks silly. It's he was telling me that one of the players, I guess, is a big Notre Dame fan from the other team. Now he was a young guy and didn't play much, but when he was shaking his hand in the line at the end of the game, said, can I hold your hand for just a minute? Which sounds weird, but
that's cool.
Kid's probably a big fan.
Well, it's just he's one of those guys. And again, a lot of credit to the punt block unit. We were talking about it again after the broadcast. A lot of guys, there's the new thing in football where you stick both arms out and you just kind of get in the way instead of blocking, because once you're past, you don't really need to hold on to anybody anymore. There's some of that, and just there's no penalties, and it's kind of, you're always looking behind the punt returner on plays like that. Like, or is there anything down? Clean blocking on that play. But I feel like, again, you get a guy with 2 seconds of hang time, hits a ball about 50 yards. I don't know if you need any blockers on the field with Bubba if you give him that much of a head start at a group of guys.
Yeah, that's a good point, but you do, they you get enough of them, but those guys did a good job.
Yeah.
And Tristan Robertson, I don't know if you saw it on that, had an opportunity for a blow up shot and on one of Westminster's players.
Right.
And I saw it coming, and I go, no, I'm thinking in my head, no. And he immediately stops and just kind of just stood there.
That's it.
And the guy bumped into him, and I was like, what such a good play. I commended him on that as soon as he got off the field. I told him, I said, I hate it because football has gotten soft and it's chicken manure. But that's what we got to do now, and that was a smart play on his part. And
a selfless play, which is really cool.
Very much a selfless play.
And then a couple plays later, you guys get a stop on defense, and the very next play on offense, you put Amari in at quarterback. I think that was the last drive of the first half, and about a 8-yard button hook to Bubba, and same kind of result. A bunch of guys running forward, he catches it, knows where he's going, and he's just the fastest person on the field.
Yeah, he just was. Basically, the guy missed a tackle, and nobody could touch him, which is not what we wanted, actually. We wanted to run some plays, and, we had talked about that. We get up enough that we wanted to get Amari in with the ones just to get the work. We were thinking that was going to be in the third quarter, not in the second quarter, but we just exploded there in the second quarter. So that was good. Now we wanted more than one play just to get that, because we learned our lesson last year when we lost Steven. Amari wasn't ready. I mean, and even close to ready, and it wasn't his fault. We just hadn't repped him enough. We don't want to be in that situation again. And but then we got him. The third quarter we came out, had that opening drive of a number of plays, and got a little reps with the ones, and then we're able to roll everybody else.
I do want to come back to Amari because I'm curious about him, but I think overall, not just Bubba, Josh Washington had a big game. I loved the play calls at the end of that drive where Josh Washington gets you down inside the 3. Right. And I was like, I think he's just going to hand it to 7 until he gets in, because the guy earns that kind of play right there. I think it might have been a touchdown, and they marked him out short, but I loved getting the calls to get him the touchdown. But I thought Aaron Mallard played great. He had a cutback on a run with the second team that went in there and made a big play there. But blocking from all of those guys, it's so selfless because you're not the one getting the ball, but I thought aggression in the blocking was really cool to see on the perimeter. It
was tremendous, actually. And I complimented on that all the way across the board. I saw Josh doing a great job of blocking on the perimeter. Bubba, Aaron himself, Karan Hall, really blocking. In fact, a couple of them got hit men. Not only did they block them and drove them either in the ground or out of bounds or whatever to get a hit man on that. So that's tremendous, that they're doing that. Again, they understand that's what it takes to win games, and they like playing the game of football, and that's part of the game of football.
And I know defensively for you guys, you give up the one touchdown there in the first quarter. It was, I think, 3 and out on offense, and then a very short punt, and sets them up with a short field, couple of penalties, extend the drive, and it's hard to keep somebody out of the end zone in that situation. But rest of the game, defensive line felt like a tidal wave, and I thought the inside linebackers played about as well as we've seen them play.
They did. They played well. The defensive front was just too much for them, even without LaDamian. So they were doing a great job. I thought Jaden played really well, very physical. He is feeling from B to B. He is feeling as fast as anybody I've seen, for us. So doing a great job there. And then Larson did his, normal good job.
Right. Just solid in the middle. And it seems like you guys had one of those over the past 10 years where you just got that guy in the middle you feel like you can rely on. But talking about Cam Cody, I think, and I maybe Cam should just turn this off for right now because I'm about to give him flowers and we want him to be aggressive tomorrow night. But I think he's kind of getting to the point where you're kind of talking about him as just an all-timer for the program. I mean, he's borderline unblockable right now, one-on-one. He's going to take a double or triple team each time. And I feel like he's now stepping into the role as he's kind of the emotional leader of the defense as well. I mean, you kind of saw it coming from the time he was a freshman, because when a dude has legs that big, you got to prove you can't play football. But I think he's kind of taken his game to the next level each year.
He definitely has. And he's grown up, he's matured, The thing about these kids is when they look like they do, when he looked like he did as a freshman, you just expect him to act like a 18-year-old. Sure. Well, he's not. He was 14, So he's definitely played the game. Last year, I felt like he got better, but still was just sweet Cam most of the time. He'd get emotional sometimes, but it was either emotion or just being sweet Cam. He's playing violently now, and it has done a good job with it and understands that's how you play the game, and it has become very, very tough in there. I mean, he's getting double and triple team, and people are going to have to, because he's just that good.
I think one of the benefits is if you have a guy like that on the middle, if you're playing to the right or the left, when all the other coaches are watching his tape to recruit him, you might get a chance to pop. And I know we've talked about him a lot, but I think Isaac Scott and Gavin Smith, I don't know that you can talk about them enough just for the job that they've done. A lot of times you're playing weak side defensive end in a 3-4 scheme. It's a very thankless job because you're just supposed to eat up somebody and let linebackers flow. But those guys, I think, have been aggressive, and I don't know that I've seen them blow an assignment.
They've had a very good season, even, fighting through the really tough games we had. They've held their own and done very well, or done beyond holding their own. They've done a very good job. And both of them are holding off Jameer Lee, who has, a number of major Division I offers as a sophomore, but they're doing a good job of saying there's no spot to take. Right. And it works really good because you have to rotate. Other people may not know the toughest thing to do in all of football is play defensive line physically. Rushing a quarterback is physically the toughest thing to do. So you're all usually big guys, so they need breaks. So the ability to roll in Jameer, basically what we do is give them 2 series. On the third series, we roll in a Jameer for Isaac or Gavin, and then it's just a rotation from that point on. Because we don't want to take Cam out, but he's got to have a blow, on occasion. And
I know, again, I think from back to front, a really strong defensive performance, but there's a couple of things I think you can circle in there where there was some quick, I don't know if it was RPO play action, but just stuff in the seam where it popped open, and a better team probably exploits that, probably for touchdowns. And they, fortunately, if you guys dropped both of those passes, but Ware County's coming up. That's something I know they're circling because that's a play that Strickland and his staff have just loaded, ready to go at any time. For you guys, what were the coaching points when you go back and watch that tape?
Yeah, we got to react quicker. We got better eye discipline, see it, and react a little bit better. I think it's simply that. I mean, they weren't necessarily out of position. It's just you just have to react quicker, and we rep all week. I don't know if everybody knows. I spend hours drawing up cards, and we find the specific plays that we want to rep against, and how to do that.
Do y'all still do the binder where you hold it up and show the scout team? And
I have the binder, but it's just cards. It's just and I make my own. I know now they have where you can do it, through the internet and on online and all that. I don't
just
do
non sequitur. That's one of the most fun jobs in football is being a scout team player and getting to do a new offense every week. It's awesome.
I know some of the guys that argue that with you because they're getting stroked pretty good back there, but I liked it when I did it, and maybe that's where meatheads.
That's it, yeah. I like getting beat up a little bit, but it's like I said, something new every week, and you get a chance to be competitive. But again, really strong defensive performance. You guys getting ready for a big Ware County team. We're going to come back and talk about that game in particular, but just in the prep for a game like this, I remember being in high school. I don't know if it affects them as much as it does coaching staff, fans, because we're all sitting there, got a 9-to-5, or you're a coach and this is your livelihood. These guys are waking up, going to school, going to practice, and just getting ready for a team. I know we put so much into games like this. What's the vibe kind of been like around the team?
They understand, and they do know it's a big game, that they're excited. Know this is a great opportunity to take the lead in the region, and what right now would be considered the 2 best teams in the region, I feel like, across the board. So they understand that. You've got to understand their kids. An adult was talking to me this week and said, we owe them. They came in and they hurt our quarterback and fell out. And I'm like, that was a year ago, brother. Yeah. People don't these kids. They can't think past an hour from now. So you have to realize that and just keep pushing it. But they do know it's a big game and they want it. And I think there's been an excitement about it, so it's been good. Not too excited. Understanding. We've been grinding a little bit harder this week, I think, and and a little more intensity from all the coaches. So I think they're feeling that.
And with the quote unquote bulletin board material, I don't know that you need a ton for guys on weeks like this, but you just kind of reminding them like, hey, they came into your house last week, kind of smacked you around a little, or last year kind of smacked you around a little bit. I don't know if I take that.
Yeah, no, we talked about that the day before yesterday a little bit, and they nodded their head and they're ready to go, and I think they understand that and want to come back and avenge that.
We're going to come back. We're going to preview the game, take a look at what Ware County is going to attack BC with, and that's coming up next right here on the Danny Britt Show.
BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com.
Welcome to Sandnat Golf Carts, where luxury meets quality. We offer a wide selection of top-notch custom golf carts to suit your every need. With our extensive inventory, you're sure to find the ride of your dreams. Plus, our flexible financing options make it easier than ever to drive one off the lot today. Whether you're cruising the neighborhood or joyriding with the family, Sandnat Golf Carts is here to provide exceptional service every step of the way. Visit us today to elevate your ride.
Criminal defense, family law, DUI, and divorce. You need representation. The one to call is Savannah's own Jonathan V. Dunn, PC, attorney at law. Voted a Thomson Reuters super lawyer consecutively since 2023. Online at jvdattorney.com. BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like on Facebook. As the world's largest lifestyle retailer of recreational boats and yachts, MarineMax is dedicated to connecting people with life-changing experiences on the water. More than just a boat retailer, MarineMax offers a complete range of services. 3518 Old Tybee Road, Thunderbolt, and online at marinemax.com.
Welcome back into BowTie Barbecue. This is the Danny Britt Show. Christian Gokel alongside the head coach of the Benedictine Cadets, Danny Britt. And massive game coming up against Ware County, Coach. And I know you guys love to make some adjustments there at halftime.
Just like a coach makes halftime adjustments, you need to make adjustments to your investments too. Markets change, life changes, and your financial strategy should adapt. Abel's Iron On More & Associates is ready to help you make the right calls. No hidden agendas, no commissions, just honest, fee-only advice that keeps you in the game. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMAINC.com.
And you've been around the block a couple of times, once or twice, and I think there's a few coaches twice. And you've had a few coaches that you've gone up against quite a few times. I don't know if there's anybody that you're quite as familiar with as Jason Strickland and his staff, just from the Fitzgerald days and now at Ware County inside the region. Just a couple of things that you can expect to see every year, regardless of where he's coaching. Yeah,
definitely. And have a long running rivalry with Jason, I guess. I saw where Dennis put in. I guess that we're 4-4 on it.
Yeah,
so hopefully I want to take the lead this week, but yeah, Jason, he's changed. He was a big time wing tee guy at Fitzgerald. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
and all of that stuff. But what you will always see is going to be very structured, very organized. Team will play hard. I've always had his guys playing hard, and always seems to have guys that can run in the right positions, both defensively and on special teams. I mean, obviously, you put your guys that can run the football,
right,
or go get the football and that sort of thing. So, just going to be a sound football team that is doing things right.
And I know undefeated football team right now, and just talking to some of the coaches and the fans out there, they know that maybe they haven't played the best schedule in the state, and they've beaten some teams that they should be. And you can't kind of project that out when you schedule them because they've played some good programs, just maybe
right,
some programs on some down years versus you guys come in, I'll say seasoned is a good way to put it, a lightly way to put it. But it's two very good football teams. And what I really love is with your teams, always going to be guys who want to go out there and be competitive. Watching this Ware County team, these are guys who love playing football. And right, I know just listening to coaches talk on the high school level, the college level, it's getting tougher and tougher to find that with a lot of kids. But just watching the way they play, I think one great example is their running back breaks like a 40-yard run, could just run it into the end zone, but he sought out burying the DB and then carried it into the end zone. Just guys who get fired up to go out there and play on Friday night. That's got to make this one even more exciting.
Definitely, and they do. You can tell by watching them on film. They're enjoying playing football, and it is always a lot more. It is easier to enjoy playing football when you're winning, and they've been winning. So, that is how that works. And they're doing it. They're going out there enjoying playing football. And, we're going to have to realize, where we're at. And yeah, they haven't played our schedule for sure, but, played some good programs and that are a little bit down, some of them this year. Right. So, they've been somewhat tested, but we want to go out and really take advantage of what we can do.
And just because of the hurricane this past year, haven't been out to Ware County since 2022. I think it was a 14-10 loss for you guys. Just a really tough place to play. You talk about Camden County, Ware County. They're the only school in the county. The whole area is going to come out, watch that football game. Right. It's a beautiful stadium, and it's always tough to head on the road when you're playing in that kind of hostile environment.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough place to play. It is, a somewhat hostile environment there. It's a neat stadium. If we get rain and it's a grass field, it doesn't drain very well. Right. So there's, that factor. We're hoping that we can avoid that one and go play our game.
It's amazing. In the swamp, when you put water on top of it, it has nowhere to go.
That's it.
And so it just kind of becomes, we were talking about it earlier, just kind of like a mud trough out there. But for you guys, hopefully, I think there's going to be some rain on and off. But when you go into a tough road environment against a very good football team, I know we always say a good run game and a good defense travel, but what are the things that you need to see out of your team as you go into this environment?
Well, no, just we've been in very tough environments already. I mean, certainly playing in Colquitt County is one of the toughest environments I think there could be in high school.
Sure.
So we've been there and just stick together, keep our heads, and play the game the way it's supposed to be played, no matter what it is. I mean, if it's raining, it's raining. It is what it is. That's part of the game. We know that. If it's whatever it is, if it's too loud, I mean, heck, that's fun to play in.
Sure.
So keep our heads, stay together, and play the game.
And going off of what you said, big plays are going to be at a premium in this game. And I think the team that really can establish that run game is going to be a team that has an advantage, but you can't give them big plays in the form of 15-yard penalties.
Facts. And that's what we did in the first game of the year against Colquitt. And that's why I said over and over again, we lost the game. I feel like we had every opportunity to win it. And that was on me. Now we've done much better with that since that point. And, we're going to have to be almost perfect with it Friday night.
I know some BC fans making the trip out to Waycross for this one, and I know this past week a really good contingent up at Westminster. What does it mean to you guys when you look up in the stands, sometimes 240 miles away, and see a bunch of people wearing your colors?
Yeah, well, it's nice, and if they want to see a football game with us, almost what you have to do this year because we're traveling everywhere. But no, it's really good, and it is important to have that support. Certainly in tough games. So. It means a lot to us, and I know it means a lot to the boys.
And with that in mind, getting a win on Friday, I think both teams putting it at a premium because, like you said, whoever wins this one, feel like is in the driver's seat to win the region. I know players aren't thinking about that, but you guys as a coaching staff, you know what happens when you lose a game like this because you have to go on the road, just depending on a coin flip, every single game of the playoffs this past year. Winning this game, setting yourself up to win the region, pays off if you do want to make that run to Atlanta.
It definitely is huge. If we can, go get this one, then you are in the driver's seat. Doesn't mean you won it by any stretch of the imagination, but you are in the driver's seat. And we have talked about that with the guys and just said, let's, it's big, it's important. Let's pour everything into it this week and go make it happen.
I think the Buford game was the first game since October of the previous year that you guys have played in Savannah. So it's
been a minute.
Yeah, it is. It's a massive thing to go out there and get a win. It's going to be a really fun environment. Kevin, Thomas, and myself will have the radio call. The NFHS has the video broadcast rights for that one, but we'll have the radio call for you here on Watch BC Sports. But if you do get a chance, highly encourage you to get out there and watch that one. Coach, got about a minute left before we get out of here. Some massive games coming up this weekend on the college football slate. I know for you, got to be looking forward to sitting on the couch from about 9 until about midnight and absorbing all those. Any game in particular you're looking forward to? I know you got Oregon, Penn State coming up, and that one I think underrated, but it's going to be fun. LSU, Ole Miss is always a really fun game. Any game you're looking forward to in particular?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm always going to watch my Eagles play James Madison. So I'm going to watch them, and then Georgia, Alabama. I'm excited for that one and to see and watch the Dogs beat up on Bama a little bit. And no, I'm just excited for football in general.
There you go. And again, big weekend coming up. Starts Friday night with a massive game between your Cadets and the Ware County Gators. Kevin Thomas and myself will be out there. And, of course, Danny Britt down there on the sideline, nice and calm, collected. No yelling or screaming. Headset toss, just easy on the sideline. You'll be able to catch that one. I'll watch BC Sports. Coach, we appreciate the time, man. Looking for tomorrow evening.
Thank you, Go Cadets.